All right, everyone. Well, thank you again for joining the Sense product tour, how leading companies use Sense to exceed the hiring goals. My name is Stephen Miller. I'm a lead solution consultant here at Sense, and I'll be running you through the Sense platform. I've been in the talent acquisition space for about the last 13 years. I've been with Sense for the last 2 years. A little fun fact about me: in my spare time, I enjoy renovation and flipping houses, and I've actually been featured on 3 different TV shows, including The Today Show and House Hunters, with past renovations and flips I've done. So a little bit more about Sense for anyone that's not familiar with Sense as a company or the Sense talent engagement platform. Sense is one of the fastest and quickest growing HR tech companies. We have over 400 employees spread throughout the globe. We have over 1,000 customers using the Sense platform, with over 50,000 recruiters using the tool every single day. We engage with over 100 million candidates each and every year. As you can see, we're also heavily awarded and have great G2 ratings. We've been featured on Inc. 5000 and HR Tech Awards, as well as many others. The Sense talent engagement platform helps and allows our customers to engage with talent at scale, really throughout the entire funnel, from the initial hello all the way through an employee retiring. We do that through a combination of tools and products that you'll see today, from sourcing and attraction chatbots, which come with QR codes, as well as text to apply and can live on your career website. We offer automated screening and scheduling functionality that you'll see today in a number of different ways. We offer omni-channel candidate engagement through both email as well as text and WhatsApp. You'll see some use cases for our automation engine today that will really impact that hiring cycle all the way from the initial hello through the entire recruitment process. We'll focus today on some pre-hire and onboarding use cases, as well as some other ways that customers use the automation engine. And lastly, employees are just as important as our candidates, so the ability to engage with your current employee base, communicate, as well as send surveys through the platform. We have customers in all kinds of industries and verticals, a few featured here. You'll see clients that are in healthcare, manufacturing, technology. You'll also see some of our customers that are experiencing some pretty amazing results using the Sense talent engagement platform. A few notable fun facts or stats from some of our customers. You'll see here, Compassus, one of our healthcare customers, has seen a 75% reduction in time to hire using Sense. Volt, one of our leading staffing companies, has seen an almost 50% increase in candidate satisfaction when interacting with the Sense platform. Our friends over at Dell have seen a 25% increase in qualified DE&I applicants. PrideStaff has seen a huge reduction in job board spend, and you'll see how our customers are leveraging the automation engine as well as chatbots to enrich and engage with their past applicants. Kindred Healthcare has seen a huge increase in recruiter hours saved using the Sense platform. And our customer Avantiv has seen a 4x increase in qualified applicant conversion into interview scheduling. The Sense talent engagement platform, which you'll actually see today, consists of several different modules that can work independently or work as a cohesive platform. What that means is, maybe today you're trying to solve an immediate problem for screening and scheduling, or empowering your recruiters with a conversational texting tool. All those are available within the Sense platform, but it's not a platform where you have to use every single module. We have customers that often start with our texting tool, then graduate into chatbots, automation, scheduling, and screening. So it's a wonderful platform that allows you to use the entire platform or use the modules that solve your existing problems. Now, the Sense platform is extremely powerful, and that powerful experience is going to sit on top of your existing applicant tracking system. As you can see, Sense integrates with almost every ATS out in the market, many more that are not included on this screen. So if you are using Workday, iCIMS, Taleo, Smart Recruiters, or any of the other ATSs you see on the screen, The Sense Talent platform is pre-integrated with your vendor of choice or with your applicant tracking system. Now, with that said, let's go ahead. Let's actually see all of this in action and get to start to experience the Sense platform from the candidate experience as well as from the recruiter experience. To get us started off, we're going to experience the Sense chatbot as a candidate that maybe is coming to the career website, or somebody that's scanned a QR code or done text to apply to begin learning more about your organization. So again, this chatbot can live on your career website. It could live on a landing page. It could live anywhere talent would come to learn more about your company, or anywhere we would want to drive talent through QR codes and text to apply. As a consumer, most of us have had some experiences with chatbots and are pretty familiar with the technology. But the great thing about the Sense chatbot, this is obviously focused on candidate engagement. It's meant to be there 24/7, 365. The chatbot has the ability to answer questions, to capture candidates, to actually capture and insert those candidates directly into your CRM or ATS. Job seekers, as they come to the chatbot, if they click on any of the FAQ sections, they're going to see your top 3 most commonly asked questions so they can quickly learn more about the organization. We also have natural language processing. So maybe they're actually interested in learning, what's the culture like? What's the benefits? Why do I want to come work for your organization? So the chatbot can obviously answer those questions quickly and efficiently, and candidates can just use that natural language question asking, ask the questions, and the chatbot's going to directly respond. From a branding perspective, the colors, the bubbles, the avatars, the greeting messages, the chatbot name, these are all configurable aspects of the chatbot, as well as the flow that we're about to experience. For our customers that are looking for real-time transfer of candidate conversations to either a recruiter or to somebody within the company, we offer a chat with the recruiter, or what we call a live agent transfer. Today, as a job seeker, though, I'm looking for a job. And as I begin experiencing the chatbot, it's going to guide me through the process. It's going to collect critical contact information. And it is going to allow us to not only collect that critical contact information, but make sure that along the way, that if the candidate miskeys information, so maybe they miskey a phone number, an email address, a zip code, the chatbot's smart enough to understand and recognize those inputs and is going to help the job seeker along the way. Again, with that natural language processing, maybe they want to use an abbreviation, give you a zip code, let you know where they're interested in working or if they're looking for remote work. Today, I am looking for a Java developer. Now, any of the inputs you see here, these can be free response, yes, no, select from a single or a multiple pick list that's coming from your job categories from the ATS. So a lot of flexibility in the way the design of the conversation. You've got the option to upload a resume. Here now, after just giving some basic information, the chatbot's going to look at all of our actively posted jobs. And if there are any currently posted jobs from the applicant tracking system, as you can see here, the candidate can research or learn more about the opportunities they've been matched to. They can go through a full application process. You also have the option to allow them to actually book time once they've interacted with the chatbot. Now, this is allowing the candidate to self-schedule time with members of your recruitment or sourcing team. We do this through our native scheduling functionality that will be directly integrated with your calendars. We can then begin presenting times to your candidates based on your current recruitment team's availability. If you want to route them to certain regional recruiters or based on certain job categories, we can easily pass them off to the most relevant recruiter for them to have their next conversation with. The next chatbot that we're going to take a look at is a chatbot that is commonly used by our clients when they're at recruitment events, when they are doing campus recruiting, hiring days, career fairs, new location openings, really anywhere that you're meeting talent. The Sense platform is going to allow you to have a unique chatbot that will allow you to quickly engage and interact with talent that maybe you're meeting at events, where they're scanning a QR code, or they're texting a phrase word to a phone number to experience the chatbot completely through text. So outside of that website chatbot, we also have those chatbots that can be accessed through QR codes, text to apply. You can use those at all kinds of events. If you'd like to manage those event attendees inside the Sense Talent platform, you're going to see some options today to automate out communications. We can also insert those individuals that you're meeting at those conferences, career fairs, or events into your CRM or your ATS. Now, I'm going to show you just one more chatbot, but while I do that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull up a QR code. If you have your mobile phone near you, feel free to scan that QR code so you can actually play with one of the Sense chatbots that'll ask you just a few questions about your experience with chatbots, automation, and ways to communicate with candidates. So a fun little chatbot that you can absolutely play around with, answer the questions, and experience that chatbot much like a job seeker would experience that chatbot. Now, the last conversational assistant or chatbot that we're going to experience today is an outbound chatbot, where maybe we've had a candidate that applied overnight, over the weekend, and we want that candidate to immediately receive a text message or an invite to a web-based chatbot through email. So as soon as somebody applies to a job or as soon as the status changes within the ATS, Sense can automatically reach out to the candidate and begin doing pre-screening and qualification for the role they've expressed interest. Here today, our candidate, Andrew, has applied for a healthcare role, which has some mandatory as well as some nice to have skills as well as requirements. So here's Andrew begins interacting with the chatbot. And if he says, no, I actually don't have this type of experience, well, maybe you want to end the conversation and say, hey, check out these 3 other jobs that you might want to apply. Or maybe we want to cascade down and ask additional questions or gather additional information about the experiences they do have. Here, we're going to say, nope, no hits on my license. I'm an IV therapy RN. I work in hospice care or would like to work in hospice care. Here, again, we can have those optional or mandatory or knockout questions, this being an optional question here. And if my candidate says, hey, I'm interested in 12-hour shifts, well, I might want to fast track that individual directly to the recruiter that's recruiting for this longer shift position. Keeping in mind that every question within the conversation the candidate is having is unique to the role they've applied to. This can be done directly on a web browser, as you're seeing here on the screen. This can also be done back and forth through texting. So they can literally be texting their answers back and forth. If they get busy, they don't have time to answer all your questions, they can always come back and answer later. We will send them reminders through text message to bring them back into the chatbot to make sure they complete the experience. So what you've seen so far today is the inbound experience. So a candidate coming to the website, a candidate that you're meeting out at an event or at a physical location using those QR codes, text to apply. You've also seen our ability to screen and automatically schedule candidates. So a candidate has applied to a job. We have quickly and efficiently screened them in as a qualified candidate and allowed them to book directly on the recruiter's calendar that is the recruiter for the specific opportunity this candidate is being considered for. Again, what you're seeing here is our native scheduling functionality. So if you're using Gmail or any version of Microsoft, we're actually reading your available times on the calendar and only presenting the times that are available. With our scheduling tools, you can also apply additional rules. So maybe this just needs to be 15 minutes or a 30-minute recruiter phone screen. You want these booked back to back, or you want 5-minute buffers between each of your meetings. You want a maximum of 10 booked in a day or 5 booked in a day. You want those meetings maybe 24 hours or 36 hours notice. You can choose, can they book same day or do you require some notice? As a candidate books time on your calendar, you'll receive your traditional calendar notifications through Gmail as well as Outlook. Candidate will also receive the invites to their calendar system as well. Now, we know that no one likes to be ghosted or sit on a Zoom line or in a conference room waiting for a candidate to show up. So we will increase your show rates by sending automated text reminders leading up to the interview. If that time no longer works for the candidate, they can self-schedule directly through those text reminders. So it creates greater efficiencies, not only in decreasing the time to schedule the interview, but also increasing the show rates through the automated reminders, and then introducing even more efficiencies by allowing candidates to self-reschedule if the time no longer works. So we've talked a lot today about chatbots. We've talked a lot about automation and using tools to help you be more efficient. But as a recruiter, or anyone that's ever recruited, there will be times that as a recruiter, we need to manually intervene. We need to step in and send a message or respond to a candidate or reach out. Today, most applicant tracking systems allow for email outreach only, or sometimes one-to-one texting directly from the applicant tracking system. Sense has simplified the texting experience for your recruiters by powering them with a web-based widget, which is the colorful extension that you see on the screen here. This is going to work inside of your applicant tracking system. Today, we're using Greenhouse. But again, any of those ATSs you saw on our slides, those are going to allow your recruiters to have a conversational texting tool through an extension that they can use inside the ATS. Given that that's an extension, it's also going to follow them around on the web and allow them to send and receive text messages one-to-one, one-to-many, whether they're in the ATS or if they're on another browser. For our recruiters that might be on the go, we also provide a Sense mobile texting app. So all the functionality you'll see today in the extension, also available inside our mobile app. To text a candidate, it's just as simple as hovering over their phone number and clicking send message with Sense. So if I want to quickly get Diana an update, maybe I want to coordinate my next steps or my interview with Diana, all I have to do is click send message with Sense. And that's going to immediately shortcut me into a message with Diana. Now, maybe I've got a number of candidates. I've got 10, 15, 30 candidates that I've shortlisted, and I'm ready to schedule them for an interview, or I want to send them an update in mass. Rather than click each person individually, using my Sense texting extension, I can grab numbers off of the screen. As I add my contacts into my message, you'll notice that if we do identify a non-textable number like a landline, with one click, we can remove those landlines or non-textable phone numbers so we can make sure that our messages are being delivered. While I'm getting the benefit of texting people in mass, this is not putting people in a group thread. I'm sure most of us have had an experience with friends or family where you get on a group chat and it's going crazy and it's really hard to keep up. This is not a group chat. This is each candidate receiving their own individual text message. In the first text message, will automatically include opt-out language. So if a candidate no longer wants to text, all they have to do is type stop, and that will prevent us from texting until the candidate opts back in. Now, of course, I can come down if I'm feeling creative today and I can free type my message out. So maybe I just need to get a quick update out to my candidates, let them know that, hey, we're working on next steps. You'll hear from me shortly. I can, of course, free type that. But being all about speed and efficiency, we can equip your team with templates to use for recruiting. We have an entire library of templates that you can choose from. So if you are new to texting and don't yet know what types of templates you might want, we can provide templates during implementation. If you have some ideas or if you already have templates that you want us to import, we can easily import or set your templates up as well. Now, as I'm dropping in or as I'm using my template, you'll notice that there is a direct tie to those chatbots. So maybe we want to invite candidates to chatbots as a second or third step. I can easily invite them to a chatbot utilizing the texting tool. We've got customers and candidates all over the world. So if you need multilingual templates set up, you'll notice you can easily have multilingual templates or templates in different languages. I can also just do quick, maybe I just want to do a quick follow-up. Hey, how's your first day going today? And as I'm using my templates, if we see anything in the template that might cause some carrier filtering, sometimes that's excessive punctuation, sometimes that is using a bunch of $ over emojis, we'll give you a nice little warning message directly within the texting tool to let you know that we see some issues or some potential improvements to make to that message before you send it out. Now, of course, I can hit send and send my message right now if I'm ready for this to go out at this point in time. But maybe I actually want this to go out tomorrow morning, next week, next month. You've also got the ability to schedule your messages. Now, as these text messages are going out, you'll immediately see a notification, so a little uptick in your extension, as well as a ding on your texting tool. If you're using our mobile app, you'll also receive a push notification from the mobile app. So if you're on the go, you can instantly respond to the candidate through the mobile app. A few other things to call out. You'll see here, I actually recruit out in California. So you'll see I recruit from 415 area code phone number. When it comes to phone numbers, we've got options for you. For our customers that are using existing voice over providers or have landlines that the recruiters or the sourcing team uses to make phone calls, often we take over the messaging aspect of that line so that you're texting and calling from the same phone number. If, let's say, you don't have voice over lines, or you've got recruiters that maybe have a home office phone number, but they recruit in a different region or in a different state, we can assign virtual phone numbers to your recruiters, sourcers, and texting users so that as they're texting candidates, that's coming from a local area code phone number. If somebody were to call one of those virtual phone numbers, each recruiter or each user that has a texting line, right within their settings, can actually choose where to call forward that to. So maybe they want that call forwarded to their desk line, the main branch number, their cell phone number. They can choose where phone calls that come to that virtual number is routed to. For our international customers or customers that are also looking to engage with candidates on other communication platforms, you also see we've got WhatsApp as part of the Sense messaging tool as well. So if I want to be texting and sending WhatsApp messages from the same phone number or the same inbox, I can easily toggle between my text and my inboxes. You'll also see here on the left-hand side, the Sense texting tool is permission-based. So you'll only see the inboxes that you have permission or access to. You could have private inboxes that are only visible to your admin team. Sometimes that's the HR or onboarding team wants their own inbox that only HR or only onboarding has access to. In addition to having a personal inbox, as we're seeing here with my 415, which is my main inbox I use for texting, you can also share inboxes. So maybe you've got a sourcer that works with a recruiter that also works with a coordinator. If you want them all texting from the same phone number, you can allow multiple users to share an inbox. When users share an inbox, obviously candidates back and forth texting with that phone number, and they might not realize that behind the scenes, you've got Sue, Joe, and Sally all helping coordinate and respond. Now, all the messages that are being sent back and forth or being texted through the Sense platform are also being logged into the applicant tracking system. So any communications that are being sent from the texting tool will log into the candidate's profile inside your ATS or CRM. So your system of record will always be updated with the latest communications with the candidate. A few other speed and efficiency things here. You'll also see that through our integration with the different ATSs, you've also got the ability to just simply type ahead. So maybe I've got 3 candidates that are at the top of my mind that I know I need to quickly and easily get an update out to, rather than go through and try to find all those profiles in the ATS and click to text or add them to a broadcast. I can just simply type their name or start typing ahead their name. I can also just simply type their phone number. So it's super, super easy. If I want to text, click to text, grab from screen, or type ahead, all are available for me. Now, you'll see some color coding. We color code the conversations. If you're sending broadcast messages, one-to-one messages, if you're getting responses, The entire conversation is going to be color-coded to make it easy for you to follow along. Now, as I slide my extension out just a little bit more, you'll see a new column appears on the right-hand side. On the right-hand side, you'll notice that there are some automated communications that are recently have been sent out to our friend Shaquille. You will also see any upcoming automations. Those could be text or emails coming from the automation engine, which you're going to see next. So those are all visible to the recruiter directly within the texting extension. There's no need or no reason for them to go log separately into a Sense tool or anywhere else to go view these communications. They're all available to the recruiter or to the sourcer as they're communicating utilizing the Sense extension inside the ATS or CRM. Now, speaking of the automation engine, there are literally hundreds of use cases and different opportunities to create automated communications going out to a candidate. A really good example or a simple use case that I'll start us off today is around background checks and assessments. So recently, we had a client come to Sense and say that the biggest area that they experience drop-off or candidate ghosting is when they move their candidates to the background and the assessment stage. They've got a third-party vendor that triggers an email to the candidate to complete that next step or that background check. This client found that often that background check and assessment invite were actually landing in the candidate's spam folder. So the recruiters were spending a ton of time manually reaching out to candidates to give them instructions. Hey, please check for this background check. It might be in your spam folder. It's super critical that you get this done in the next 48 hours. We're going to have you start next week. Well, rather than rely on the recruiter reaching out, as you move to the background or move to the assessment or move to a stage or status in the ATS, through our ATS integration, Sense picks up on that workflow change and can automatically communicate out via text or email to the candidate. So rather than having the recruiter manually reaching out, the automation engine is automatically going to push that text to the candidate saying, hey, Mary, we're super excited. Please complete your background check in the next 24 hours. Mary hasn't completed her background check. Maybe you want a 48-hour, a 72-hour reminder. Within those reminders, you can be using different verbiage. So maybe on that second or third reminder, it's a little more escalated. There's a little bit higher sense of urgency to get Mary to respond. Now, within any of these journeys or these sets of automations, as soon as a candidate has changed status, there's been an update, we automatically pick up on that change. So if Mary completed her background check before that 24-hour or 72-hour reminder, and she gets moved forward in the workflow, rest assured, we're not going to send Mary an irrelevant reminder. We'll only send those reminders to the candidates that are currently stuck in that stage or status of your ATS. Now, at the top of the hour, we did mention some use cases around pre-boarding, onboarding, employee communication, which we'll cover here in just a second. But this is just some sampling and example journeys or sets of automations. I talked earlier about use cases for utilizing the chatbot out at events or at career fairs. Well, once you've engaged or met talent at a career fair, maybe you want to nurture them for the next couple weeks, months. You want to nurture them until they graduate, and then you want to start to present opportunities for, fresh out of college or interns. You can utilize the automation engine to stay in touch with those candidates following those events or after they've engaged with the chatbot. When it comes to new employee care, pre-boarding, onboarding, lots of industry terminology, but really it's that period from somebody's accepted an offer. So we've done all of our hard work to find that person, pre-screen, interview, get them excited about the opportunity. They've accepted our offer. Maybe it's a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks to their identified start date. Well, that is another big area that we see a lot of ghosting. People are accepting offers, day one comes around, and they don't show up. They've taken another offer, or they forgot that they were supposed to be there at a certain date or time. Rather than having your recruiters or your onboarding team manually reaching out, sending text and reminders, we'll communicate and create that high-touch, white glove experience for candidates all through the automation engine. So you'll see here, I've got a first day touch or first day reminder. Maybe it's a week, 2 days, 3 days before their first day. You want them to get a text check-in, and it looks like it came from the recruiter or maybe their hiring manager. Hey, Mary, we're super excited to see you tomorrow. Make sure you're here by 8:30. You need to go to 312 Main Street. You're going to check in with security. Make sure that you bring your safety shoes, or make sure you bring your driver's license or I-9 verification. So any of that critical day one information, we can send to them through the automation engine. We can also stay in touch as well as nurture them with personalized content through email as well. So often, we're talking to clients about staying in touch through employee resource sharing. So, hey, here's more information on the organization. Here's a welcome video from our CEO. Here's an awesome blog article we've written. Here's some fun things as an employee you'll have access to at the organization. While we're trickling that content, the idea here is, again, we want to create that high touch. That candidate literally feels like every day, every other day, every third day, they're hearing from you. They're staying engaged. They have questions. They can respond to these text messages, these emails, and we route them back to a real person for response. Now, of course, pre-boarding doesn't end on day one. Maybe your first day, week, 30, 60, 90 days. You want to have automated check-ins. And those could be just simple, hey, how are you doing? Type text messages. Or for our clients that are looking to get a little bit more detailed on the data, or they're looking to not only survey, but actually action on the feedback they're receiving. So here I've got a 30-day survey that's going out to my candidate. It's on that formal 1 to 10 Net Promoter Score scale. Within that survey functionality, I'm giving my candidate the option to rate me again on a scale of 1 to 10. If somebody's a promoter, somebody's like, man, my first week, my first month, my first 90 days have been awesome. I love working here. I like my team. Well, we can help you capitalize on that positive momentum or that positive feedback. So for some of our clients, this is a great opportunity to ask for a Glassdoor, a Facebook, a Google review. So directly in the survey, if they rate us highly, we can direct them off to another site to write a positive social media review. We also see this as another place that often our clients will actually insert a referral ask. So if somebody says after their first 30 days that they're super engaged, they're super happy, they're a 9 or a 10, maybe you want to say, hey, do you know anyone else looking for work? Would you like to refer someone? Here's more information on our referral program. Now, on the flip side, maybe somebody's first 30 days weren't quite as expected, and they're a little bit on the fence. They're more neutral. They're like a 7 or an 8. Maybe rather than say, hey, that's great to hear, our neutral responses, we want to say, hey, I'm sorry to hear that. How could we do better? Would you like to provide feedback? Would you like to schedule time with the HR team to discuss your experience? So the ability to utilize those surveys as part of these touch points, that way you can quickly and efficiently not only collect the feedback, but action off that feedback. All of the Sense products that you've seen today also come with robust analytics. So if you want to see, are my text messages being delivered? Are candidates booking time on the calendar through the scheduling tools? Are candidates finishing conversations with the chat bots? Are candidates responding to these messages that are coming from the automation engine? And you're going to have full visibility into those analytics as an administrator to the platform. The last experience that I'm going to show here before we open up for some questions is around that stat that I shared earlier on a reduction in job board spend. That may have caught your attention because reduction in job board spend is a top priority for many organizations. Often we know from having conversations with our clients that when they're paying money to the job boards, they're often receiving candidates that applied to a job in the past, whose profile was already in their ATS. So really not a valuable or a value from the job board. What you're seeing here on the screen is what we call our passive to active, or what often clients will call their silver and bronze medalist campaigns. So within your ATS, maybe you've got somebody that was like a clear second runner-up, but you only had one position. So you disposition them, you tag them, you categorize them in a certain way. The automation engine can pick up on those disposition stages, those tags, those categorizations, and we can automatically begin re-engaging with the candidates that you already have in your database, where we can begin matching them to jobs. We can do check-ins. Maybe you're just like, hey, I'm not even sure if this person's even actively looking. So we want them to get an email or a text where they can say, yes or no, I'm actively looking. Newsletters, surveys, again, job matching, omni-channel through text and email. When we look at an example of one of those newsletters or one of those emails, you can see when the candidate opens up that text or email, it looks really nice. This email was super easy to build through our drag and drop marketing grade email builder, where you can see some fun content. We've included some additional links or different categories for them to check out, embedded surveys, and embedded videos. So we have gone through a lot of content, a lot of information today. So I am going to go ahead, I'm going to open it up for questions. We'll also be doing a poll as part of today's webinar, so you will see a poll pop up. But as we wait for the poll to pop up, please feel free to use the chat feature to ask any questions. Now, I do see one or two questions that have already come through the chat. So while you get to play with the survey, I'll go ahead and I'll address some of the questions that have come in from the attendees. One of the questions that one of our attendees sent over was around the texting tool versus the automation tool. Question is, do we have to use the texting tool to use the automation engine and vice versa? Can we just use the texting tool and not use automation if we're not ready for that? Simple answer is absolutely. As I previously mentioned, Sense is a modular solution. So if your current pain point today is just not having a conversational texting tool, we can empower your recruiters, sourcers, and coordinators with a texting tool that we saw earlier. Typically, that texting tool can be launched within 2 to 3 weeks while the integration is being built in the background. So you can absolutely use the texting and automation engine in conjunction with another, or you can use those independently. Another question that came in through the chat was around size of the database. So someone on the webinar said, we have about 700,000 profiles of both active and formerly active candidates and employees inside Workday. Can we use the Sense automation engine to reach out or to communicate with all 700,000, or are we limited to only active candidates? Quick answer there, great news. Sense will sync with your entire database. So maybe you've got 10,000, 700,000, 2 million candidates within your database. Sense will do an initial data sync during implementation. That way you'll have all of the candidate data inside Sense to run those automations and those communications. Now keep in mind that we will have access to that data through our ATS integration. So if you are a global customer and somebody, using GDPR says, I want my information to be deleted, and you delete that information from your Workday instance, or the profile is purged, once that sync with Sense runs, which is typically every few minutes, that information will automatically be removed from Sense. So it's a great way that we can allow you to sync with your entire database. But if you do purge records or have candidates requesting their records deleted, that will also be reflected in Sense. Last question I see here, and I'll give everyone just another moment. I had a question come in around setting up a demo for the recruitment team with one of the attendees so that their team can actually see the texting extension. Client says, we are currently on Taleo Enterprise, but we will be moving to Oracle Recruitment Cloud sometime in 2024. Could we start using the texting tool today and see a demo of that inside Taleo and then move that to Oracle later? Answer is absolutely. We are integrated with both Taleo as well as Oracle. So if you are using one tool today, but thinking about migrating or upgrading to a new ATS, Sense can happily follow along. I will keep the chat open for just about another 30 seconds before we end today's webinar. But on behalf of the entire Sense team, I want to say thank you for joining and spending some time with us this morning or this afternoon, depending where you're located. We would be absolutely pleased to follow up with a personal demo as well as use case discussion. So please feel free to reach out to myself, Stephen M. at sensehq.com, and we can easily set up time for us to do some discovery and demo with you or your team. Again, thank you for your time, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Thanks for joining today's webinar.